Good evening, everyone. This is Robert Jamieson, our online chess lesson for Thursday, the 12th of June. Last weekend, as some of you may be aware, we had the big Vic Open Championships here in Melbourne. Followed and visited for a couple of days. So I've got quite a few interesting games and positions from that tournament, and I want to show all of them to you today. So let's get started with a position from James Morris and Max Tuley. Let's talk to Oliver. You there, Oliver?
Yes,
Talk to me, Oliver.
I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Okay. You still there? You're very echoey. Can you hear me all
Yeah,
right,
I'm
Oliver?
here.
Say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, looks like we're having a bad night with static. You had to go at the puzzle? Do you have any ideas?
Actually, I haven't. I've only just got here.
Okay. Let's have a look at it. So if we're seeing a position for the first time, the first thing we do is we have a look at the material, and material's equal. It's white's move, so we then say, what is black threatening? And it does look like black has any particular threats in this position. What do you think black's next move would be, Oliver? This position move would you probably make?
Hmm.
Think about improving your pieces.
Maybe bring my knight into the action. So I'd probably do knight
Now, things are not terrible,
c4.
Oliver. I'll have to mute you and give someone else a go. Let's see if I can get someone who's not got static. Right, Oscar? Zero having technical problems. Oscar's lots of static. We'll try Tim. Hello, Tim. How's your...
Good.
Can you hear me? I'm getting a little bit of static from you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. If let's go, what move would you make?
Oh,
Zero, dear.
probably thinking.
I think we're getting echoes from you as well. Right, okay, for Soldier, I'll talk to any mic for a moment, and maybe you can type your answers in the question box. Go along. Okay, let's have. So, if it were Black's go, I think Black would probably play Knight C4, because that's really good for the knight. Other than that, I don't think he's really threatening anything. Now, White's go though, so we have to think what to do. So the normal things we'd think about is perhaps our pawns. Maybe we can do something with our pawns to gain space or get a past pawn, but in this position there's not much. I mean, we could play pawn to c3 if we want, but that doesn't really do much. All right, so then we look at our pieces, and I usually say find your worst place piece and see if you can get that into the out. But in this case, all actors are on good squares, doing a pretty good job. So there's nothing much we can get into play that are out of play. So we then think, all right, well, mine's all good, so I'm ready to go to maybe do some attack. So we have to look around and find something we could attack. So white, in fact, does have one attack. So I want you to all go to the question box and type in what you think you would play for white if you're in this position. Come on, I'm not getting many responses yet. Have a think. White play. Can you do something with your queen, your knight, your bishop, your rooks? What can you do? Cadence to do bishop d6, but black can just take it, Cadence, because it's unprotected. So that's no good. Anyone else want to have a go? Have a look for unprotected pieces or pawns, something you could attack or put pressure on. Oliver wants to play knight 5 check, but I think we just take it. I'm not sure you've gained anything too much out of that, Oliver. Maha's saying she solved her problem. I'll see if I can talk to Maha. We'll go one more go. Maha, can you hear me all right? Okay. Say a few words. I wonder if you're echoey or not.
Yes.
Can you say something? Nope. Lost the power of each. Dear oh dear. Now Oliver's come up with an interesting idea. I was just thinking about it ago. Oliver, look at rook e5. When I showed this position to one of my students, that's a silly move because I'm not going to fall for taking it, and you fall queen. So it was pointless. But just having a look then, it's not in fact pointless. It does have a threat. It's quite a sneaky move. If it was white's go now, he could play rook g5 with a double attack on the queen and on the g pawn. And again, the pawn can't take because of knight e5 check winning the queen. So rook e5's interesting idea. Well done, Oliver. All right, Callum's screaming for give him a go. See if we can talk to Callum. Callum, how's your mic? Talk to me, Callum.
Good.
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 Okay, I heard that word all right. So have you got any ideas for white? You haven't suggested anything on the question box yet?
But I think I've got a pretty okay-ish move.
What move could you do?
Oh, I haven't pictured it that well yet. The bishop
Okay.
d6.
I'm getting echoes from you as well. Sorry, everyone. It must be at my end. I don't know whether it's the weather or something. All right, we'll keep going without the microphones in because these echoes are terrible. Waifu also likes rook e5. Now, no one said what I think is the obvious move. Let's have a look. Rook e6. So the idea of that is clearly that it's attacking across there to the pawn on c6. And if black were to reply with queen takes rook, we just go rook takes queen, king takes rook, queen takes pawn, and even though it's 10 points each, you'd think white has a much better position because his queen's attacking here. He's got maybe knight g5 coming up. I think it'd be better for. So now here's a tricky question. The obvious thing for black to do would be just to defend his c pawn, but that would give white a really good move here. So put your thinking caps on, everyone. Type the question box. If we had this position, white to play, what move could you do? Where you're building up, where you've got the pressure. Callum's suggesting h5. Not really, Callum. I think I just take it. Oliver's going queen g6, just loses a quip. Think of things you can attack. We played rook e6 to attack the g pawn. Callum's come up with a good idea, which I won't say just yet, Callum. All right, the move I'm thinking of is white could just play queen e, and now he's got a triple attack on this bishop can't move because then we snaffle the rook. So I'm thinking black can't actually play rook c8. So poor old James was in a bit of a pickle here. So all right, I'll just move my bishop back to f8. And if you want to take the pawn, you can take the pawn. White, in fact, has a really good move here, which Callum's already spotted. Anyone else have a go? So white to play. Can you pick the clever move that Max played to end up with a victory against James? So type in the question box what move you would play for white. Oliver's found it. Well done, Oliver. Maha, not rook e8 Maha. There's just a swap off. Callum's got it. Yep, Callum and Oliver are the two who've got it so far. Dinal's got it. Well done, Dinal. All right, the move I'm thinking is knight g5 check. Oops. So remember I say to you when you're in tactical position, look at all twos. really sneaky move, because now the f6 pawn takes... Oh dear, sorry. Keep getting the wrong arrows. If the f6 pawn takes the knight, white's queen can come to g6 check, and he'll end up winning the rook on e8. So he can't really do anything much. If he goes back with a king, queen takes g6 is going to be a checkmate. So black's pretty much forced to give up his queen. So Max took the queen, and James got a couple of rooks for it. But like the previous variation we looked at, queen takes g6, and white's attack on the king side soon got through. And it turned out to be a very good win for Max. Okay, so those of you who found knight g5, not too many people got rook to e6, which was the first move. All right, let's move on. Just load up the game. There you go. Right. Okay. Now, the game I want to show you today is fairly short. It's Chris Wallace, who's quite a strong player, ended up tying 5th in the tournament, and Ray, who I think is a good junior. Now, a few interesting points throughout the game, particularly in the opening, because you guys probably know all the basic stuff that I've been harping on about. So we're trying to seize the centre, make our king safe, develop our pieces, that sort of thing. But there's a few refinements to that that we need to consider as we go along and get a little bit more advanced. So let's have a look. Start off c4, 5. So English. I'm thinking not many of you guys probably play the English. It's a fairly positional sort of opening. Now, Chris Wallace decides to play a solid line whereby he's going to fianchetto his bishop and castle king side and make his king really safe. So he's thinking about king safety. Black to play. There's probably lots of good moves. One of the things, the sayings that we have to people is sometimes we say knights before bishops. Can anyone tell me why we would say knights before bishops? Can you type in the question box what's the reason? Maybe Black would look at moving one of his knights out as opposed to getting his bishops out. Type in the question box what the reason would be why we say knights before bishops. Oscar says because it's winning the centre. Callum says it's because they control the centre. Not quite. We say knights before bishops, so like in the game Black played knight f6, is because we're pretty sure that knight is going to go like on f6 or the other one's going to go on c6. We don't really want to put our knight on the side of the board. Maybe sometimes we put on e7, but the best square, if we can get it there, is usually f6, c6, f3, c3. Whereas bishops, it's not too sure what the square is for the bishop. So to preserve options, we say knights before bishops. White, of course, is doing something a little different. He's fianchettoing his bishop. Now Black puts out his other knight, so he's obeying all the rules. And White now puts his knight out. Okay. Now, let's have a question for you. So Black's got his 2 knights out. He's next got to think about how to get out his bishops. So I'll give you a choice. Should he think about playing d6 so he can get out his white squared bishop? Or should he be thinking about playing e6 to get out his black squared bishop? So the choices between those 2 moves. Type in the question box what move you think Black should play first, d6 or e6. Which do you prefer? Ray takes d6. Callum likes d6. Aha likes e5. She's being radical. That was one of the options. Oliver likes d6. Cadence likes e5. Oscar. So most people are saying d6. All right. I might have one more go at talking to someone. We'll see if Dinal can talk. Dinal, are you there? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you choose d6 instead of e6?
Because if you go d6, you can get your right bishop out, and it links your pawns together.
Okay, all right. I think I got the gist of it, but again, it's too echoey. Sorry, we're still having problems. Waifu is the only one who wants to go to e6, and I agree with Waifu. Now, the thing we need to think about is we know we've got to get our bishops out. We've got two of them. The question is which one has priority, the queen bishop or the king bishop? How can we decide? Well, the normal thing is we want a castle. We know that's one of the aims of the opening, and we're probably going to castle kingside. Therefore, we would be thinking first about getting out the bishop on f8 so we can speed up our castling. So that's the thing juniors sometimes get wrong. So all of those of you who are going d6, I mean, it's an okay move, but you're probably trying to get out the wrong bit first. We want to get out that squared bishop. So in fact, black played e6. White just castled. And then black played d5. Okie dokie. Now, so black's obeying all the rules so far. He's got the lovely pawn center. So he's got the nice two pawns side by side, which I'm talking about, which gives him more control and more space in the center. Whereas poor white, he's only got one pawn in the center at the moment. Against that, he's made his king safe by castling, and black hasn't been able to do that yet. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Actually, if you have a look at the setup black's adopted here, I'm not sure what we call it, but with pawns like so, and the two knights out, this is a really safe, solid opening that you can play virtually against anything. You can play it white, you can play it as black against e4, it's called the French defense. You can play it as black against the English here, or black against d4. I remember years ago, Cecil Purdy wrote an article about how to just play a nice, safe, solid opening without any problems, and this is what he recommended. We're probably going to put our bishop on e7, castle, and then we can think about what we want to do after that. So rather than learning lots of opening theory, give this a go sometime if you like. See whether it's a good opening for you guys. Okay, now what's white to do? His pawn on c4 is attacked, so he goes chop, chop back again. All right. Let's see what you guys think. You think white going better, black's going better, or even? Who do you put in the question box? White, black, or? We'll see if we can get some agreement. So Callum thinks it's even. Oliver thinks it's even. The question is, Callum, not Callum, Nathan, do we prefer white? Do we prefer black, or is it even? Tim likes black. Sam likes black. Cadence likes black. Waifu says even. So we're getting a few blacks, a few evens. Oscar says even. All right. It may well depend on the next move. Black's got more central control. So if black can move his bishop castle and he's still got more space, he's probably going to be a little bit better. But white's got his king safe, so he's ready to do something now. He's got two pieces out. So I'd probably agree with most of the people who said even, maybe slightly as black. It depends on white's next move. So what move would you play for white here? What are you thinking, Capon? Type in what move. And the move I'm thinking on is based on your understanding of what's happening in the position. So Sam is suggesting d4. Oscar's suggesting d3. Waifu likes d4. Maha's going knight c3. So we've got three different moves so far. Tim likes knight c3. Dinal likes knight c3. All right, so let's just stop and firstly, all those who want to knight c3, I don't know that that's a terribly good move because I'm just going to play d4. Chase your knight away to a bad square and you've given me free space. So before you decide, you've got to say what's the opponent going to reply. So not knight c3. One or two of you said d3. That's sort of okay, but probably a little bit wimpy because black's going to be left with the 2 pawns in the centre and more space. So I'd prefer black in that position. But some of you said d4, and I think that's right because white, going back, must realise, hey, I'm going okay, but I haven't got any space. I haven't got a foothold in the centre. So what can I do? Let's put one of my pawns in the centre, and I'll try and gain a bit of space and contest black's control of the centre. So I think d4 is the right move. So well done to Sam, Yaifu, and Callum, who all chose d4. All right. Now, big question for black. I'll give you guys a choice of 3 moves. So first move, we could just say we'll go bishop e7, planning to. Second move, instead of that, we'll go pawn takes pawn to get rid of white's outpost in the centre. Or third move, we'll say, okay, we're going to go c4 to gain more space and to stop him taking our pawn, giving us an isolated d pawn. So that's your choice. So type in on the question box which one of those 3 you prefer. Bishop e7, c takes d4, or pawn to c4. So Callum wants to take. Maha likes c4. Tim likes c4. Callum's changed his mind and written bishop e7. Maha, Oscar, Kate going c4. Sam's going bishop e7. Nathan, Dinal, Oliver going c4. Most of you guys are going c4. All right. Let's go through them. All right. Firstly, so takes, I don't think would be a good choice because then white's knight would come into the centre where he wants to be, and black would have an isolated d pawn, which might end up being a little bit of a weakness. Gives him a bit of control of centre, but probably white would prefer to play that sort of a game. So maybe not pawn takes pawn. The move is probably bishop e7. So that's a nice safe move, and we're developing that bishop, not the other one, so that we can castle next move. Now the only drawback might be that if white wants, he can do a swap. So we've still ended up with an isolated pawn, but this time it's on our terms because the bishop has got outdeveloped and white's knight's still back on f3, not on d4. So that would be a much better scenario. So I think that would be the safe option. Oops, I've gone back one move too far, sorry. Right, but in the game, he did what most of you guys chose, which was c4. Okay. Now, drawback of c4, space, but whether it can hang on to that space is another question. And it's not like a developing move. So whereas my move got a piece out and I'm 1 move away from castling, now black's still 2 moves away from castling. Okay, so I'm thinking c4 maybe not the best. Question would white do? So let's do a similar thing. Actually, this is quite good because we're comparing what you guys are thinking with what the players are thinking and what I'm thinking. And hopefully that'll help us make decisions in the future. So we're white now. Black's just played c4. He's gained that space on the queen side. Our go. What move do you reckon white should play? So type in on the question box. Again, think about a move that's related to what's happening in this specific position. What's our problem? How can we best improve our position? That sort of thing. So move. What would you guys do? So Sam's looking at knight c3. Callum's looking at knight e4, which is legal. Do you mean knight e5, Callum, maybe? Yes, Callum means knight e5. Maha, either knight c3 or b3. She's doing 2 moves. Big greedy Maha. Yaifu likes knight c3. All right. And Cadence likes knight c3. All right, again, a lot of you guys are just playing like a routine move. You're playing knight c3. It's a good square for the knight. It's developing a piece. Can't be much terribly wrong with it. But it's not sort of exactly what's happening in this position. Now, black's just gained space with c4 move. So the best move, I think, is what white actually played, and that's b3. I think Maha was the only one who... Now, the reason why I like b3 is because first threat to take his pawn, and if he takes back, that's going to give him a weak pawn on c4. Maybe our other pawn can move up to d5 eventually. But certainly it will weaken his pawns. And if he decides to take us, then we can take back with a queen, so we've gained like a free move. Never knock back a free move. So I reckon b3 is a pretty move. All right. What should black play? Let's put our think on again. I'll give you a choice of 3 moves. So 1, he can take us. 2, he can play bishop g4 to develop his light squared bishop. Or 3, he can play bishop e7. So choose one of those 3 moves. So c4 takes b3, bishop g4, or bishop e7. Which one do you choose if you were black? And type it in on the question box. Dinar likes bishop e7. Callum likes bishop e7. Maha bishop e7. Oscar bishop e7. Okay, looks like everyone's going for bishop e7. All right, bishop e7 is probably not too bad. It's certainly the right bishop so that you can castle next move. I think if I were white, I'd then play knight c3. No, I'd probably take on c4 and play knight c3, threatening d5. Maybe the best one is just to take, and even though white recaptures with a developing move, we could then challenge queens to try and blunt white's pressure. So we've got 3 pieces out. He's got 3 pieces out. If we swap queens, I don't think we're going to have any really great problems. So that might be worth a go. In the game, black played a different move. Callum's now suggested that. Bishop g4. I reckon it's a lousy move, Callum. Firstly, it's a wrong bishop because that's not helping us to castle. The other bishop would take priority. And secondly, I'm not quite sure what it's doing on g4. It's not a pin. I don't think we want to trade the bishop for knight because that would lose our control of the white squares and sort of waste 2 moves doing an even swap. So I think maybe that's the move that causes him to lose the game. We'll see. Okay, so white to play. Now, the key feature of this position is that black hasn't yet castled. His king is still in the middle. So white's thinking, well, maybe if I can get him under a bit of pressure before he castles, I might be able to do something really good. So instead of taking on c4, he plays knight e5. So I think that's a good move because threatening to win the pawn on c4. It might even be threatening to take the bishop to get the 2 bishops. And if black was to take the knight, I think he'd be in a bit of strife after pawn takes. His knight hasn't really got a good square to go to. So knight e5, not a bad move. All right, let's have a look and see what black can do. So black plays pawn takes b3 because his pawn on c4 was attacked. Looks reasonable. But again, the problem with that is we recapture with a developing move. So now we've got our queen out into play. And more to the point, our queen is threatening the pawn on b7, which is unprotected. All because our naughty bishop moved out to G4 for no readily apparent reason. Okay, what should black do? Let's put our thingy on. I won't give you any alternatives this time. You can just have a guess. What move do you reckon black should do here? Black to play. Type in on the question box what move you'd do for black. Now we're threatening that pawn on B7. That's the first problem. Or we're possibly threatening the knight on G4. So Callum's saying bishop B4. I think if you play bishop B4, Callum, knight takes knight on C6, and then your bishop isn't defended. That would be a boo-boo. Cadence is going B6, which would lose your knight on C6 as well. That would be a boo-boo. Oliver's going bishop takes E2. Oh, I think that's very risky, Oliver, after rook E1, and then the rook's going to be lined up on the same line as the king, and your bishop's attacked. Very risky. Waifu's going takes D4, but then I play queen A4 check. Might be a worry. Maha's going queen B6. Maybe Maha, not too bad. Queen B6. Nathan bishop F2, that's illegal. Tim's going bishop D6. All right, we've got a lot of moves there. No one's actually come up with the move that black chose. Black decided to go all the way back again. Put his bishop back D8 to protect his B pawn. So in effect, he's just given white 2 free moves. His bishop went out to G4, came home again. So that was pretty terrible. So white's now having a look around. Black still hasn't castled. White wants to increase the pressure. So the obvious move is knight C3. Now, be a little bit careful that we're not losing this D pawn, but if black were to take it, I think queen A4 check is going to work quite well for us. So we'll say that pawn's not on pre. And now white actually has a threat because he's got 3 pieces ganged up on black's D pawn. So black's in a little bit of a pickle. So black says, okay, I better try and get the hell out of here, even if I might lose something. I'm going to try and get my king safe by castling. So he plays bishop D6. All right, let's have another go. So white's go. We look like we're going all right. What move would you play here for white? Because if we give black one more move and let him castle without any penalty, he's probably going to be hanging in there. So we need to hit him hard and hit him quick. So Callum wants to do knight takes knight on C6. So I think he just takes back with the pawn, and that's protected his pawn on D5, Callum, so I'm not sure that's helping us. Maha wants to take the pawn on D5 with the knight. Maybe that's okay. Anyone else have any thoughts? Oliver wants to take the pawn with the bishop. Bishop takes D5. Callum wants to go bishop G5 now and pin the knight. Might be a slight pain. Nathan likes knight takes D5. Yep, I think I agree with Sam and Nathan and Maha and Tim. That looks like a free pawn in the middle. So let's just grab that pawn. Come on, knight takes D5. Whoops, hang on, I'll go back. There you go. All right, so white's won a pawn on D5. So if black just castles, we can just swap on F6 and protect our pawn, and we're a pawn up for nothing with a nice position. So black says, okay, you've won my D pawn. I'm going to try and get back the E pawn. So he goes knight takes E5. We take him back, and he takes us with the bishop. Right, so how are we going? Materials all equal. But again, the key feature of the position. So what I'm trying to teach you guys is be able to look at any chess position and sort of by analysing it and seeing what's important and what's happening, work out what the key feature is. Is it king safety? Is it space? Is it time? What's happening? And then that'll help you choose your move. So in this position, the key feature is still black hasn't yet castled to make his king safe. So if he had one more move, castles, it'd be right. The other feature, of course, is we've got to ask ourselves, what is he threatening? He's just taken e5, and he's threatening our unguarded rook in the corner. So we have to bear that in mind in our thinking. All right, now, we're getting close to the critical position of the game. Whites go. I think he's got 2 or 3 good lines. So put your thinking cap on and type in what move you would play for white here. We've got 3 attacking pieces. He's got 2 pieces out. So we're ahead on development. We're ahead on king safety, but our rook is attacked, so we might need to think about that. All right, so what have we got? We've got Nathan saying bishop b2, Maha saying bishop a3, Oliver's going bishop g5, Callum bishop 2, Maha's repeated bishop a3, Oscar's gone bishop b2, Caden's gone knight takes f6. Okay, Waifu likes knight takes f6. All right, some of you have come up with a good move. No one's yet come up with a move that was played in the game. So put your thinking cap on, look at the themes. There could be some pin or fork or skewer or something like that happening. Oliver's now trying bishop f4. Doesn't look like anyone's going to get it. Okay, well, let's have a look. Some of you said bishop b2. Whoops, I'll get rid of the arrows, sorry. Go away, arrows. All right, some of you are saying bishop b2. Might go close to losing a piece because I think he just takes and then takes on d5, maybe not. I'm not sure that's helping us much. Now, the best suggestion, I think, Oscar's come up with a good move. Well done, Oscar. I like Maha's idea, bishop a3, which is really using her imagination because now that bishop is stopping the black king from castling by controlling that diagonal. So even if this position, black says, all right, you left your rook on pre, I'm just going to snaffle the rook. We attack. And with the exchange down, but I think white actually has a winning position. He's probably going to play rook d1 next move, and black's king is just sort of stuck in the middle. Is not going to last very long. I don't think knight takes d5 helps. So that's an excellent idea, Maha, because when you think about it, this bishop on e5, that's a really strong piece in the middle of the board. And our rook in the corner is just sitting there doing nothing. It's not really helping it. So black's giving up a really strong piece based on its placement for an irrelevant rook at the moment. So I'm impressed with Maha's bishop a3, but the move played, Oscar is the only one who saw it. So well done, Oscar, is queen e3. So no one apart from Oscar is thinking pins, because now we've got this sneaky pin of the bishop on the king. And if you're not careful, like if you protect your bishop, I've also got f4 because the bishop is pinned. Good move, Oscar. All right. So black's in a real pickle now. But maybe he can get out of it if he finds that move. So let's see if we can help him. Black to play. Can you find a move for black that might get out of this really horrible pin? He doesn't want to lose a piece if he can help it. So black to play. What move would you guys do? Oscar's found the move. Well done, Oscar. Sam's going queen d6, maybe. Oliver wants to take on d5. Don't think that avoids the pin, because we take and then we play f4, winning a piece. Cadence wants queen c7. I'm just going to play knight takes queen, Cadence, check. Callum's repeating the correct move. Oliver wants to castle, but that just loses a piece for nothing. All right. Callum's the only... Oh, no, Tim's now found it. So Callum and Tim are the only two to find the correct move. Can play knight g4, and that gets him out of the pin, because the queen's probably got to go away. If it goes to e4, we can just play f5 and then castle or something. So it's probably got to go away. And bearing in mind his rook's attacked as well. So knight g4 would have been the best move. He didn't do the best move because he had a different idea to get out of it. He did Sam's move, which is queen d6. And he has a sneaky idea to try and avoid losing a piece. All right, see if we can get past his sneaky idea. So we'll go back to being white. White to play. What move would you make for white? So Callum wants to do bishop a3. Looks a bit dodgy, maybe. Maha wants to play f4. But Maha, if you play f4 winning the bishop, he's going to play knight takes d5 winning the knight. It'll be piece for piece. Callum wants bishop b2, but again, he's probably going to play knight takes d5, maybe. No one's come up with white's move in the game. Nathan's come up with the right move. All right, Nathan, well done. White, in fact, played knight takes f6. Now, if we take with the queen, we just play f4 and win a piece, or bishop b2 and win a piece, or something like that. So black takes back with a pawn, and white now plays f4, saying, I'm winning. But is he? Does black have a sneaky move? What should black do here, do you think? Black to play. His bishop's pinned and attacked, so it can't move. Is there any way he can get out of it? What move would you guys do for black? Callum's found the right move. Sam's found the right move. Cadence found the right move. Well done. You know, it looks like everyone spotted it. Tim's gone bishop e6. That will just lose the bishop, Tim. No, everyone spotted it. So the move that black tried, queen d4. Okay, now, this is pretty sneaky, because if we take the bishop, he's got our rook. And if instead of that, if we take his queen, he can, this is terrible, he takes with the bishop and it's check, and then he gets our rook. So that would be a disaster. So maybe he's found a sneaky way out of it. Maybe not. All right, critical point in game. Put your thinking cap on, you guys. You are Chris Wallace, you're white. You thought you're winning a piece, but he looks like he's found a way out of it. Can we still win the game? What move would we make here? What is our best move here? White to play. Put your thinking cap on. Type in the question box what move you'd make. Everyone's thinking hard. Maha's going rook b1. Maybe, but then I can play queen takes queen, check Maha, and just move my bishop, and you won't have time to pick up my bishop. Selwyn's going bishop d2. Again, I can do queen takes queen and save my bishop. Cadence has put bishop d3, which is legal. Maybe you mean d2. Nathan's going bishop d2 as well. Nope. Waifu's going f takes e5, so Waifu wants to give up the rook for the bishop. Anyone else have any ideas? Tim wants to also play f takes f. Okay, I'll put you out of your misery. So well done to Waifu and to Tim, because it's the same old story in chess. What's important is not the absolute value of the pieces, but whether the pieces are well placed and are doing a good job or not. So White plays f takes e5. So he's gotten rid of Black's main defender, that bishop in the middle, and Black takes the rook in the corner, but who cares? We weren't using that rook. That rook doesn't help us at all. And Black still hasn't castled, and it's our move. So hopefully we can finish him off, even though with the exchange down. The next move is obvious. So we go takes f6 check. So we're threatening to get in on e7. So Black's reply is pretty much forced. He's got to play bishop e6. Still hasn't castled. All right, White's go. We've got a move here that can finish him off. So everyone type in the question box, White to play, what move would you do? Exchange down, but we've caught his king in the middle if we find the right move here. Who's going to be first to spot it? Callum's played a good move, not this move. Oliver's played a move, nope. Ma's played a move, nope. Tim's played a move, nope. This must be harder than I thought. Look at what you can threaten. Look at how you can finish off Black's king. Keep it trapped in the middle there, whilst poor old Black Queen is stuck away in the corner whistling Dixie. Selwyn's tried bishop a3, nope. So far we've had bishop a3, bishop d5, bishop b7, queen takes e6, bishop takes b7, no. Come on guys, it's 2 moves deep. White to play, look at a big threat. How can we get a really big threat going? Not just winning a pawn or threatening a rook or something. Oliver's gone bishop c6 check, just loses a bishop, Oliver. Selwyn bishop d5, too slow. Cadence queen a3, almost cadence. Callum bishop h3, nope, too slow. This is harder than I thought. Sam's found it. Oh, Sam's found it. Well done, Sam. You beat Cadence by about a millisecond. All right, the good move is queen c5, bringing in the heavy artillery. So now the queen is threatening to go to e7 checkmate. And that's very hard to get out of because our queen's offside. We can't really cover the black squares. So Black said, okay, I'll make a run for it. I'll run away. And White said, well, you're not very far. Queen e7 check. King c8. Bishop b7 check. King b8. And then bishop f4 with mate next move. Whoa! Good finish. So that was an impressive game from Chris Wallace. Looking back over it, Black made a few little mistakes in the opening, like maybe c4 was a bit of a waste of time, and he played that bishop d4 was definitely a waste of time. He didn't pay attention to getting his king safe, and White was able to trap the king in the middle, which was the main theme of that. But you can see how we looked at the alternative moves and how we made up our mind between them. So I hope that's helped you make decisions in your own chess game. I'm sorry I didn't get to talk to any of you effectively today. Don't know whether it's a weather thing playing up with a microphone or whatever, but hopefully it'll all be better next week and we'll be back to our normal sort of lesson. So thank you for today's lesson. I look forward to catching you all again next week. Thank you and good night.